Welcome to one of the most fascinating podcasts on the planet, Jerseys and Heels, bringing women into the game. Hi, I'm your host, Haley Hunt, and I am bringing you behind the scenes at what real life looks like for some of the biggest names and most inspiring people in sports. And now for this week's episode. We're starting. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. And I brought you something that you've never tried
I've never had this before. But it's so pretty.
Isn't it? It's lavender. Okay. I love Sanctum. Do you love Sanctum?
I do.
Okay. And I discovered a lavender latte, and it's kind of like a lotion and latte mixed together.
Okay.
It tastes like a spa day in your mouth. I can't explain it.
Moment of truth.
Isn't that weird?
It is really good.
It tastes like cereal milk.
It really does. That's the first thing that came to my mind was like Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
I think what we should have added was a shot of espresso. Wouldn't that have been great?
Yes.
Okay.
Still very good.
Guys, if you want a latte that tastes like Fruity Pebbles, it's a lavender latte from Sanctum, which is a local vegan place. And the reason that I went there is because, one, I love Sanctum, but two, everyone knows that you're on this new vegan kick. But before we talk about that, guys, this is my wonderful, beautiful friend who plays for the Orlando City soccer team. That is freaking awesome.
Thanks.
And how long have you been playing for the Orlando City?
So I've been playing for the Pride for 4 seasons now. So this is my 4th season. So I've been on the team since day one, since it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you came from?
I was in Houston.
Okay. And then before that, you played on a bunch of American teams, but then you were out of the country.
Yeah, so what happened was, I got drafted out of college to Philadelphia.
Wow.
But that year, the league folded. So I was like, crap, like, what am I going to...
What league was that?
It was the WPS, Women's Professional Soccer. And I was like, shoot, like, what am I going to do now? Like, I want to play soccer. I don't know where I'm going to go. So I ended up staying. They kind of made it like this makeshift league in lieu of the WPS.
Okay.
So I went up to Western New York, and I played for the Western New York Flash out of Buffalo. And that was only for a few months in the summer, and then there still was no like proper league here. So a good friend of mine, Katya Gokman, I played soccer with her at Florida State. She's Russian.
It's I know one Katya in my life, and she's from Russia.
Amazing.
Very Russian name, apparently.
So she's Russian, and I got in contact with her, having played with her at Florida State, and like I knew her family, and she was a very good friend, and she was going overseas to Russia to play. And I was very interested, and I needed something to do. I wanted to stay involved in soccer. So yeah, I went over to Russia for a year, and I loved it, and it was amazing. And then while I was in Russia, a new league came back in the States. So now the NWSL, which is currently the still league that's here.
That you're
I'm a part of right now. Yeah, the NWSL. And so when I was in Russia, I just came back, and I came back to DC and played for a few years, and moved around, went back to Western New York for half a season, and it didn't work out, and got traded to Houston, and the Orlando Pride formed, and then I got brought here.
Wow. Yeah. So when you went to Russia, did you get paid in ruble, and did you have to learn Russian?
Oh my God, yes.
You did?
Absolutely got paid in rubles. Transferred like all my money back here. It was wild. I did learn Russian, not a lot of people in Russia speak English, especially in the city that I was in. I was about 3 hours outside of Moscow. It was beautiful city. It was called Resign. And I did learn Russian because I didn't really have a choice.
You had your teammates that were Russian there?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so she was Russian American, spoke perfect English, spoke perfect Russian. So I kind of got away with a few things. I'd be like, Katya, like, what are they saying? Like, what's going on? But it was really cool learning Russian because I feel like not many people know Russian.
Know Russian,
so
yeah.
Here I am.
So do you still know it?
A little bit, yeah. I'm a little rusty. It's been like, I don't know, 5 or so years since
And you don't have
been
anyone
there,
to
but-
speak Russian with.
Exactly. But I have this like little app on my phone. I think it's like Duolingo or something.
I love
but
it.
Yes.
You practice it.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's like a game.
Yeah.
And you
I know.
put in the thing. That's great that you still. Okay, so what about other languages? What about Portuguese?
Yep. So I know a bit of Portuguese.
You have a lot of international
Yes,
people on your team.
absolutely. So at one time we had 3 Brazilians on our team. And yeah, it's just been really fun learning Portuguese. I went there in our off season for the first time, and it was such a beautiful place, like
Wow.
such a beautiful culture, and the language is awesome. And
I was going to ask you that actually. Like, have you been to Brazil yet?
Yep. So I went to this city called Maceió. They call it like the Caribbean of Brazil because the water is like stunning and like crystal clear blue, and it's gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Wow. Okay, so I want to ask you, you became a vegan, and so I read a couple things, but it wasn't because, it's a very trendy thing to be right now, and which is cool, and if it helps people get healthy, then that's awesome. But for you, why did you start being a vegan? Was it health reasons, or was it because you love animals so much, or what?
I think initially it wasn't because I loved animals. It wasn't necessarily health reasons. I think at the time I would cook a lot of vegetarian meals just because I was honestly like too lazy to cook meat.
You sound like me, literally. That's great.
But I would eat meat outside of the home. But so I was cooking a lot of vegetarian meals, and I just was on Instagram, and I would see all these like recipes for vegan meals, and like these
That
little
looked delicious.
Yeah, and these videos that looked so good, and I was like, well, it didn't seem that much different from being a vegetarian. So I was like, well, like why not? Like why don't I just dive into it? I was very curious about it. So I think that was my initial reason for trying veganism, the curiosity itself. And after I saw the kind of effects of it, like the health benefits and just, the animal industry, animal agriculture, I just knew that like this was my lane, you know? Like this is where I'm staying. And
So when you went dairy free, which is a weakness of mine,
Yeah.
like probably cheese and that kind of thing, but did your skin clear up? Did you feel more toned?
I think right away, I didn't really notice much in my skin, but I think just getting rid of dairy and other animal products, I saw that I was sleeping better.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I got leaner. Like I think at the time I was like 180 pounds. And then I dropped down in the span of like 3-4 months to like 162-ish.
Wow.
Just like obviously like I was exercising as well, but I think just that diet switch, because my body wasn't so inflamed with animal
Milk, yeah.
products and all these things, and yeah, I felt better. I felt lighter, leaner. I was sleeping better. I had more energy. I just felt great.
Wow. Okay, so do you consider yourself, and have you ever heard of a vegan?
No, what's a vegan?
Vegan, vegan. Those are people who are vegans, but because if you're a true vegan, you do not eat any honey.
Yeah.
So do you?
I don't eat honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why?
I think
Have you done research and you found your own?
honestly, I haven't done too much research on it, but I think it, and I know there's like things on Netflix, like videos and like documentaries and things on bees, and I think if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna go all the way. So I don't like wear leather either.
Okay.
And yeah, I think just, a bee is an animal, right? So I don't know all the horror stories of like how they treat bees or whatever. And I think people might think, oh, it's just bee, they're so tiny. What, harm could they be doing? But yeah, I dove all in.
Okay.
No honey.
Okay. So I had someone ask me to ask vegans if I ever meet them. If you're starving and you're not at home, what fast food do you go to? If you're just like, I have got to eat right now, my blood sugar's low, I'm getting really hangry. Do you get hangry?
I do get hangry. And when I get hangry, I get so quiet. I'm like, I can't right now.
Really?
Talking is out the window for me when I'm hangry.
Okay, guys, get her some food, right?
Give me some food.
So what what do you do? Do you go to the closest Whole Foods? Is there a place? Is there a Chick-fil-A?
So I don't think this has happened to me too often because I'm like pretty good about eating.
Keeping snacks and stuff.
Yeah, and keeping snacks. I think that's always important, just to be prepared, because you never know like what's going to happen, what situation you're going to be in.
Yeah.
Especially in the airports. So
Yes.
that's handy. But I do know Chick-fil-A's French fries are vegan. So that it's a good one. Those are amazing. And I heard that they're coming out with like a vegan like chicken sandwich. And I heard Burger King is like doing a vegan burger as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Like a
mean,
Beyond Burger kind of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Thank
so
you,
these places
guys.
are like catching on, you know?
Well, there's so many of them. It's like a gluten-free bun at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's
They have
crazy.
it. So I used to play soccer in middle school. I was defense because I was a little, on the thick side. And I also was on the track team. I threw the shot put.
Oh my God, me too.
You too?
Yes.
But ninth grade came and I was like, I always thought that soccer players were like so cool. They were the prettiest girls. Like I wanted to be a soccer player so bad. And so ninth grade came and the first day after practice, I quit because of the running. I'm like, I'm going to die. How do you run? Like, is that just in your blood or do you get tired?
Oh my gosh, running is definitely not something I'm genetically built for, especially the long distance. So I have to work very, very hard to keep up with like some of my teammates who are just naturally gifted at just running long distance. I'm more of like a sprinter kind of mold with my body type. But so yeah, I think just I have to really focus on, because that's, I would say, a weakness in my game. So I just focus on that as much as I can, my training, make sure I'm eating right so I can just so I can keep up with these girls and that I don't feel so tired. And I think that's one thing that veganism has helped me with, because as I said before, like I don't feel as tired. So I think I can go longer than I used to. I can do more things.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, what's your nationality?
So I'm just American, but my mom is white and my dad is black.
Okay. So I have a niece, Malia. She's a soccer player. Incredible. You guys look very similar. I want to know if where our country is right now, is discrimination something that you've ever dealt with? Not just as a woman, but as like someone who you're like a hybrid of both worlds. Like I love to call you guys like hybrids. Like, I mean, do you deal with discrimination? Is that something that you feel in your heart that is still prevalent in this country right now?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's all around us, and I think unfortunately the climate of our country right now is such that all of these things, discrimination, racism, sexism, like everything is so amplified with the culture of certain people have kind of, stained this country with. And I would say that I don't feel it so much, but I do witness it a lot, and it like breaks my heart because, I am both black and white. So I see it's interesting because I think some people look at me and see me as a black woman, and then in other situations, some people will look at me and not see me as a black woman.
Wow.
So I think just being kind of between those worlds, it's a very interesting juxtaposition because it can be confusing at times, But I think that when I do see these injustices, especially when it's in a situation that I'm in, I try my best to kind of rectify the situation as best as I can, because no one wants to feel inferior, no one wants to feel less than.
Yeah.
And I think we have to stand up for each other. We need to stand up for what's right.
That's amazing. A lot of people will ask you like what your goals are, what you hope in your life, and but I want to ask you, first of all, if you weren't a soccer player, what would you be? That's one thing I want to ask you.
This is a very interesting question. I think about this a lot, actually.
Do you?
Because I'm like, what's life after soccer like?
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I'm not too certain, but I do know that I love animals. So I've always thought in my head, even before soccer, like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to be a veterinarian. Like, I want to help animals. I love animals so much. And now I think pretty often about how can I help animals. And I think having a rescue or a shelter of some sort would be right up my alley.
Okay.
So I don't know what that looks like or how to go about that, but I think that's something that I am very passionate about, and I think that I would be very happy doing that.
Amazing. That's something that you'd hope to maybe be in. Do you have a fear, or what is your biggest fear in life? Or like secret thing that, like for me, I think obviously spiders, sharks, swimming sharks, but I think, fear of, I struggle with like, I still care what people think about me.
Yeah. I think maybe below the surface, I have a fear of not living up to my potential just as a human being. Like, I think we have so much to offer each other and to the community and to this world, and I don't want to leave this place like not doing all that I could have.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple as like being kind to people, or creating these great ideas or whatever. But I think that's one thing that really kind of bothers me is I want to do something impactful.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be on a grand scale. Like I said, it can be as simple as just being a good human.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that
a little bit worried about.
Yeah.
Okay, and last question. First you have to pick, you've been all over the world. Just pick your favorite stadium.
Our stadium.
Okay.
Our stadium is the best stadium. It's beautiful. It's new. The grass is always immaculate. Like, the environment is so close and intimate that it just, even in the stands, you feel like you're in the thick of things. You feel like you're on the field, and it's so loud, and it's so fun to play in front of our fans.
Wow. Okay, so if I love this question, but if I gave you 5 minutes and filled it with people our age, and you got 5 minutes to tell them literally whatever you want. It's our generation. What do you feel like our generation needs to hear today, right now, in this country?
I think just be kind to each other. I even have it a little tattoo here to remind myself. It can be hard sometimes, but I think that's one thing that we can always control. I think just being kind and having an open heart to each other, because we are so different, but I think at the end of the day, we all are the same. We all want love. We all want to feel appreciated. We all want to be cared for. And it's so simple, and it can go a long way. So just be kind. And you never know what people are going through on a daily basis. So.
Isn't it insane? Like, you never know, and it's so easy to put the fancy people that have everything together in the front, and then people that may not have it all in the back, and you just don't even know. You could be that person in 2 seconds if it wasn't for your parents or your situation,
Yeah.
So that's so cool. Wow, well, thank you so much. I'm totally coming to see you in a game.
Hey, please come.
And thank you so much for being with us and teaching us and inspiring us, and we love getting to know you.
Thank you so much. It's been great. My lavender latte as well.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Jerseys and Heels, because they are more than jerseys and we are more than heels. I hope you had a great time. Come join the party on Twitter and Instagram. You can also like and subscribe. We want to hear from you wherever you are listening, iTunes, Spotify. And then if you'd like to email us, you can email us at team@jerseysandheels.com.